Okay, so I've just zoomed in a little bit over Greater Sudbury, French River, St. Charles, and West Nipissing area. You'll also notice that I cropped out some of the menu options on the right, and I've just done that for this section here because I'm going to be turning on the specific coverage information that the providers submitted to us. And in part of our agreement with them, our non-disclosure agreement, that we've committed that we're not going to physically illustrate their coverage areas. So I'll just describe the service type and not who the provider is, and toggling them on and off. So we've got this one company. Actually, there's two companies in this area that offer fiber to the home, fiber to the business services in and around Sudbury. When I toggle these coverages on, you'll notice that these are main trunk lines coming in, and then there's the actual service lines into the businesses and the households. Turn that off. Then we have DSL coverage map here. This is anything in green that you can see. That's DSL to the home or business that's capable of delivering in excess of 5 megabits per second, so probably 5, 20 plus megabit per second. Anything in the yellow shade is capable of delivering high speed, but is below 5 megabits per second. Now, this was an important threshold when we were developing BAIMAP, just because that was at the time that the federal government wanted to see the delineations of anything that was above 5 megabits per second was in the acceptable category. Now we know through some programs such as the CRTC, they're looking at delivering 50 megabits per second by 10 megabits per second down. So new iterations of BAIMAP will likely reflect those other categories. Now these two layers that I'm turning on are fixed wireless, so from towers. These are two different companies operating in a similar area. Now you'll notice why they're splotchy. They're roughly circles, as radio frequencies are, but they're splotchy because the program takes into account topography, so whether there's hills and valleys which may create an obstruction between the tower site and the customer. So we've taken all this coverage information that was submitted to us by the providers, and we've created a layer, several different layers, but specifically we're interested in this one layer that merges the types of service not by the platform they're delivered on, but by the speed that they're capable of delivering. So the providers gave us the spatial coverage, but they also gave us information like the capacity and the performance. So anything in green is a high-speed fixed broadband service that's capable of delivering at least 5 megabits per second. So that's cable, fiber, DSL most often. Some fixed wireless, such as these towers here, are able to deliver 5 megabits per second. Anything in red is again fixed broadband, but delivers less than 5 megabits per second. So again, fixed wireless. That lighter speed DSL that I mentioned is also represented in the less than 5. And then therefore anything that's white or that would appear unshaded can't receive fixed broadband service, so they would have to then rely on cellular data for broadband or a satellite service for their broadband.